Taking the chance, stuck in my head, not gonna leave it at that. Taking the lead, feeling your heat, just wanna give you my best. I don't even know your name, but you got me, 'cause you're old to die. We don't know what happens next, but you got me, 'cause I'm next to none. You make it look so easy, making me feel so dreamy. Never wanna pay for drinks, but you got me, 'cause you're old to die. Got me locked in now. Go ahead and take a shot. Do you really want me? Maybe you're just playing. The way you're making it move, yeah, you do it so smooth. Make it all about you. Can have it all if you want. Taking the chance, stuck in my head, not gonna leave it at that. Taking the lead, feeling your heat, just wanna give you my best. Taking the chance, stuck in my head, not gonna leave it at that. Oh baby, tasting so sweet, acting so rude. Won't you tell me what I'm supposed to do? Yeah. High and low, in between, acting out, make a scene. Working on our body language, working on our body language. Baby, now tell me exactly how you feel. I'm just trying to keep it real. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside. Tell me exactly what you mean. You mean everything to me. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside. Dance on the beat. I don't want no excuses. You keep me feeling so clueless. I'd like to dream. Keep on dreaming about us, baby. Now tell me exactly how you feel. I'm just trying to keep it real. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside. Tell me exactly what you mean. You mean everything to me. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside.
Hey guys, welcome to the 5 F's to Love Network. Tonight, I'm really excited because we're having a real talk on Real Talk with the Ladies about platonic relationships. I'm going to tell you, I think I'm a bit of a unicorn because I have so many male friends and I am their platonic friend. So this conversation goes really vast because even though I'm their friend, they said they would never have another female friend as their platonic friend. So now we're got to bring the ladies in because we're going to have this conversation because it seems a little lopsided sometimes when it comes to male and female relationships and the different roles that people play in your lives. So it might be important for you to pay attention so you can understand how you can have this conversation with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. All right, so Dr. Mack, I'm going to tell you, I brought you in first, honey, because you didn't come back as Sade. You didn't for a week.
I love
And I feel like I want to sing a song.
I
like
think smooth operator is my mood. I can agree. Yeah. Sade,
is
it's
that
an
what you're
off the
feeling?
shoulder thing.
And with the tattoos out and everything. Precious, I know Precious watching tonight. So Precious, look at Dr. Mack.
Precious. Oh yeah, I had to the ink. I like it. And you know, it's I'm feeling the holidays. So I said I'm gonna give it a rip tonight, a little shoulder tonight. So I'm glad you digging it.
I like that little shoulder. And I'm gonna tell you, I rushed in from work, meetings all day, and I threw this blazer on because I was feeling on neutral. But I'm gonna tell you one person.
This blazer on. You just got a piece like that hanging around. Your collar all crispy. You don't own an iron, so I'm looking at your collar.
Look, it's leather, so it pops itself. It pops itself. Don't worry about it. It'll pop itself. But I'm gonna tell you who else did some. Ramel, listen, we heard you've been been at this gala, honey. You've been in the street dancing and at the galas and everything.
I have. My husband
Move
and I
back.
went out this weekend and, got a chance just to get out and leave the kids behind. So it was fun.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know why Roz be acting like she working at the bank when she
Hey,
come on here looking all fabulous, all waved up and everything.
no.
Roz, look at you looking like a hot potato over there.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, looking all
Hey.
cute. Well, I'm gonna tell you, lady, we done brought a lion into the lioness den tonight.
Oh,
We have our special guest, and I'm gonna tell y'all, he can hold his own. Honey, it's Warwick Ray. He's a comedian. Warwick, what's going on?
Hey, everything's going great. Everything's going great. I was running a little late because I left the seatbelts in the car, but I got them now.
Warwick, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you right now, I need you to halfway act right just so I can just be professional while you on tonight. He joined us on Real Talk with the Men on Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago, and I'm telling you, it was a riot. He is absolutely amazing. His perspective on relationships, I think people don't understand because he's a comedian, right? But he has real serious perspectives on relationships, which I value. So you guys, look, I'm gonna open up the conversation on For Real, because in this segment, we're just gonna have an open conversation. Everybody who's joining us tonight, grab your glass of wine because we're just gonna talk. Our first segment is, do you have a platonic friend of the opposite sex? So Ramel, I'm going to start with you because you're married
Uh-huh.
and you guys been married since college. But that
Yeah,
doesn't mean
after
that you
college.
don't have any platonic male friends that you've had just as long as your marriage or maybe a little bit shorter. So do you have any platonic male friends?
I have long-term platonic friends that are male. I have a couple of friends that my husband and I have been together for 30 years, and I have friends that exceed that time frame. So 35, almost 40 years for one of them. So, but then I also have friends that I've made along the way too. But um yes, I do. Absolutely.
So you've got new friends and old friends
Mhm.
that are the opposite sex. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait till we get into segment number 2 because we need to know how that went down, when it came to the relationship. Okay, so Roz, what about you? Because Roz is single, she was married, but Roz, do you have any platonic male friends?
more platonic male friends than female.
Wow, really?
Really,
More.
more.
Okay. I can't wait to learn. I mean, what's going on? I'm your friend, but I need to know what's happening. Now we really about to ask some questions. I'll be like this. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Mack, what's going on with you? Because although I think your husband is adorable, by the way, you already know that I say your husband's adorable. I think y'all got a professional photographer over there, the way y'all be posting them pictures on social media. Whatever.
We just been taking pictures since college, and we got our angles right.
Is that I'm like, who takes a pose on the sofa laid out and it's just like perfect? I'm like, what was that? A professional photo?
That's so
What is happening? So, Dr. Mack, when it comes to you and your husband, because you guys have like this friendship, unbreakable bond kind of relationship you guys have had, just like Ramel, like since college. So, do you have any platonic male friends that you had just as long as that relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say before I met my husband, I had male friends, and they're still here. So it's definitely
Wow.
it's a way to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Warwick, what's going on? Because I need to know. Because you got a fan club. You got more than platonic friends. You got a fan club
I,
in
I
your
only have
situation.
I only have one platonic friend, but I knew that me and her was gonna be friends because I knew I said there's no way that I could be involved with her, and I gotta keep signing her in and out of a mental institution. I knew we was just gonna be friends off the bat. I just knew that. But
What?
that's it. Just got
So
one.
That's valid.
Okay, so you know what? That's a bigger conversation. But when it comes to your platonic friendships, do you sometimes feel that other people don't understand how you have that type of relationship with someone that's not your spouse?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult because women, I think women how can I say this? Women don't understand. Like if you got a little friend and if she was there before her, then they understand your relationship, your bond that you all have. But I don't think
Okay.
that while you're in a relationship that you should gain other friends. Once once we're in a relationship, you should have no more friends. Your old friends are good, but new friends, no, no,
All right, so you think once you get into a relationship, there should be no making of new friends of the opposite sex?
no.
Wow. I mean, and that's I get that a lot from men. So, Dr. Mack, what do you think about the whole psychology behind the men thinking, no, you can't make new friends after we done been together?
I think that, and I can speak for the men that raised me. On site or on introduction, what is your objective? What is your motive? And is there an adult man that is attempting to gain female friends honestly? So this is not from your neighborhood. This is not from your church. Isn't someone who you were friends with since high school. You're an adult woman. So is this a category friend? Is this a coworker that if you become single, they can shift from friend zone and hang around long enough to cross over? Is this a business partner that it's only business until you could become single and then they can jump over that line? Most men have an understanding that there's those gray area friend zones and then there's a solid friend. And I think that the only way to solidify that is them being in the same space and understanding the energy. I think that men can feel if this is somebody that's truly platonic and there's this history and this story that binds you, lived across the street from each other or something. But hey, I just met this guy and he's so nice and he's gonna help me with this and help me with that. Why?
So you know
And,
what,
and,
and before I go into
too much.
right, and that's the thing. It's that question mark behind that. Denise, thank you so much for joining us tonight. She says, yes, I've had one for over 43 years, my BFF, no drama. And I'm
Mhm.
going to tell you, that's the thing what you just said. And Denise, thank you so much for watching us tonight. And I just want to say, everyone watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, we really appreciate you in LinkedIn. So I have a lot of platonic friends, but it's to what you said, and that's what validates the friendship for me. Some of them are business platonic friendships, right? And so we do work together, and that's what makes us friends. But then I have some that are family, like they're my platonic friend. They've
Mhm.
been with me so long that they're actually my family, and that's a different kind of situation. But do you think sometimes people can kind of skew that relationship depending on emotions in that moment? If they need some type of comforting, then that friend that was just your boy or your girl, now it becomes they're comforting you. Do you think that comforting changes the dynamics of that platonic relationship, which concerns maybe the person that you're with?
Absolutely. I think
Mhm.
that once you reach a relationship status, meaning you guys have made some form of commitment, there's a hierarchy there. And
Okay.
there in the hierarchy, if in fact I have a challenge and your best friend from grammar school has a challenge, something about me should now make me the priority. And when you have a best friend or a childhood friend, they have to understand that one day a transition will come and
Mhm.
you will have to come later. But if you're in a secure relationship, your partner will understand that you do have commitments to that person. You have an emotional relationship with that person. So you're showing up for family events for them. You're making sure that you can make
Right.
their birthday events, but you're now bringing this person with you. The
Mhm.
minute you decide to have your own separate things
Yes.
with this person and you and your person don't have things, movie quotes, songs you like, recipes you share, secrets, inside jokes.
Mhm.
When you start to only have that with this friend, and your
Right.
person is sitting up like, I never seen that. You're now causing a rift
Mhm.
unnecessarily between those two people. And sometimes you don't even mean to, but you got to kind of learn the transition or how to introduce people or let go of people because some stuff starts to rise with friendships when you start to fall in love. And those, we'll get into that.
That's 100%. And Karen, thank you so much for watching us on Facebook. She said, my male friend has been my friend for 22 years.
Ooh.
Hey, Karen. And so I already know who this is. Really?
Where did he come from?
I just want to say, just because your wife is on, he like, I'm her friend, 100. He's on Facebook. I can't take it. Her husband tuned in. So, folks, when we come back after the commercial break, we're going to talk about the Will and Grace syndrome. People who have, like Dr. Mack said, you got that special connection where you don't even have to speak. But your best friend, your platonic best friend, knows you better than your boyfriend or your girlfriend. How does that create a rift in your relationship? Ramel, we're going to start with you and move over to Roz when we get back, because I want to know how many of y'all got some Will and Graces happening over in y'all life, because we're going to straighten this out tonight. All right, guys, be back right after this commercial break.
Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it that I'm never going up, going up.
Broken future, all the plans you made in your heart grew just to die.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 5Fs to Love Real Talk with the ladies. So, I do have to say, I've been a party to platonic relationships where the girlfriend or the spouse, because the guys call me Chris, they don't call me Christine. So they'd be like, oh, let me talk to Chris real quick. And this is Chris calling me, or this is Chris texting me, or I'm going to go hang out with Chris. When they finally meet me, it's kind of weird sometimes. And I always tell my male friends, can you just tell them Chris is really Christine? Because when they meet me, they go, that's your friend? This is who you've been hanging out with? So it's hard to explain. And what I'm saying is, I think a lot of times, if you explain, and mind you, once people get a chance to meet me, they go, oh yeah, now I see it, right? Because I'm just a regular person. And I don't want your spouse or your boyfriend. Like, I'm the person that's really trying to help you keep the relationship solid. But the thing is, you do have those Will and Grace relationships that do conflict with your real relationship, right? Because it just happens. So, like, Roz, I'm going to start with you. Do you feel at any point in time when you are in relationships with someone that your BFF, and I know who he is, we won't shout him out because he didn't want to come on the podcast tonight. But I mean, does your relationship with your BFF, because you guys do talk about everything, do you think that's a conflict for the person that's in your life, that you have such a close relationship?
That has been a point of contention in a relationship that I've had of late. And I'm not sure why, because I've never given off that vibe. He's never given off that vibe. I think if you're in a secure relationship with someone and you're introducing this person, and my BFS has a woman, I mean, and I know her. And it's like, I would never, and he would never. Like, we're really just really good friends, and we've known each other before we had relationships. And it's unfortunate because I'm the one, not the one, but one of a few or a couple, or that has tried to encourage and uplift and edify his relationship with his woman, and likewise with me. So we really have each other's best interest at heart, in that we want each other to be, totally engaged, totally happy, and there's no, you know, hanky panky, none of that. So
Okay, well, I can feel that. Okay, well, no, before I go to you, Ward, I know for you, because we talked briefly about this, that you've been in some situations. Okay, he's working his phone, by the way. We won't get into that. No, we're gonna jump to you because Ward
I'm gonna have jokes with a comedian.
okay,
That's
we're gonna
okay.
jump about his phone, right?
I'm gonna co-sign your jokes.
Exactly. Ward, we invited you to the Lion's Den, the Lioness Den, and this is what happens.
I
Okay,
know he went
Ramel,
sideways on us.
exactly. So, Ramel, you and I
Yeah.
have a common friend, which
Yeah.
is Matt. And
Yeah.
Matt is like, he's Matt to us, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I definitely, Matt is my go-to guy when it comes to relationships because of the business that he does. He
Mhm.
does relationship matchmaking on a high level. And I mean, you've got to be making a certain dollar amount because he's connecting you with major people. And so when I have relationship things, I call Matt first. But his wife, by the way, his wife name is Crystal, and I'm Christine,
Crystal.
and Crystal knows me. So if I
Mhm.
call at 11 o'clock at night, she knows it's legitimate. I'm just
Mhm.
not just calling for no reason. But has it ever been an issue with you and your husband with you trying to maintain those relationships with these men while you're married?
Okay, no, and I'll tell you why. Um, Very open. I opened the curtain of doubt. I erased that
Mhm.
for my husband. My husband knows all my friends. He, if he comes in while we're having a conversation, they can speak to him. He can
Mhm.
speak to them, you know what I mean? And we have, and I know they're my friends' wives, and I talk to them like just like with Matt, with Crystal. If I'm on the phone with Matt, Crystal might come in, I might be like, "Hey, Crystal, how you doing?" You have to
We
keep
like
it
Crystal.
where yeah, Crystal's awesome. So, but you have to be able to be very open and above board with your spouse if you expect to be able to have a relationship that does not cause tension for your spouse. And it's important for me that my husband knows that he comes before my friend. He
And
is my
that is
spouse,
important.
right?
That
He
is
is
so
my spouse.
important.
I really want to keep him. So, right? And so
I really want to keep him.
I really want to keep him, and so it's important that he knows that that they are my friends. I love
Mhm.
them, but he comes first.
He comes first.
Yeah.
Well, Ward, before we go to you, because Dr. Max she says she clowned on you about your little thing. Mac, your husband said he got his eyes on you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's watching you. Carlito's Way, thank you for joining us via YouTube. She says sometimes the issue or fear is more related to the emotional connection versus the physical connection.
Yep.
And so, Ward, that's for you because for men, you guys don't want us to be connected to another man emotionally or physically. And I think for me, you guys see it a little bit differently when we have a platonic male friend. Because to you guys, you're like, what is his purpose, right? If you're around,
Yeah, I mean, if you had this friend before me and you are just friend, platonic friends, I have no issue with that. My issue is with new friends, and I say this a lot. Nobody in a relationship should get new friends because now you got to spend time with that person. Now you're taking that time away from me, that you got to get spend time getting to know that other person. Well, then that's not you spend a lot of time with that person, but
mhm.
your platonic friend, you already don't share that moment, but you don't have to do all that like you used to do. But when you meet somebody else, it takes time to become friends with that person. And I don't think that's, but platonic friends, it's okay.
Okay, so but we're with you. You had platonic friends, and one of your girlfriends walked out on you because they said she couldn't handle the truth.
Yeah. Some of them, they can't handle it, because now you're spending time with your platonic friend. But like the doctor said, you got to implement that person coming in too to make them feel secure. When you don't do nothing like that, then yeah. But even when you do that, some people just are insecure. It's insecure.
Okay, so that's the thing. When you're dealing with someone's insecurity and false concepts or perceptions about your relationship. And I'll be honest with you, there's a guy that I dated, and he was so put off that I had so many male friends. He said, you got to choose, either it's them or me. So obviously I'm not in that relationship. All right, Carlito's Way, thank you so much for joining us again from YouTube. So how do you balance the emotional heart insecurity from your mate? That's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, we're going to take one of my really good friends, and Roz knows who this is Eric. Eric is one of my best friends. Eric is my brother. I introduce him as my brother. That is my ride or die, everything. If I have to get rid of Eric to be with you, it's going to bother me because that's family. Right. So I'm going to need you to understand, I'm never going to put Eric before you, but also you got to understand he was there with me through a transition of helping me raise my child. You get what I'm saying? He has a special, he's like an uncle to my son. So I can't just erase him, and I can't erase that he's my family. But this person was so threatened by that, but I couldn't manage that because that was his insecurity. So Dr. Mack, I hear you about to put the doc on it. I see you about the doc.
Listen, it's really about the introduction and understanding your person in detail, right? So all of us have a thing. It's so funny that my husband and I were having a conversation the other day, and it's like, you know what? I'm definitely still a little jealous, just in general. It makes no sense. It's just we just are with certain things. So that's the truth moment. So then you say, well, how do I help with that? You know, what exactly do I do that it irks you a little bit? And because I want to keep you, which is what Rumel said, what do I need to do to kind of adjust this? But his security and love for me won't strip me of my authentic self. So he's not saying, don't do off the shoulder. That makes me jealous. Don't do that color lip. That makes me jealous. Don't socialize. Only have female friends. Those are now blatant signs of abuse because you're trying to strip me of my people and my authentic self, which is a separate category when it goes too far. We can make adjustments to help one another be, more secure. But if I have done everything that I could do, I introduced you to the friend, I explained our history, I set boundaries with the friend. So, he knows that maybe before I got in a relationship, we used to go to our stepping classes every Tuesday. I can't do that anymore. I can only go once a month. But to tell that person, no, never again. But you met me and I skate with this person, I bowl with this person, I go to Bible study with this person, and that's our thing. And you just want to cut the person off. You want absolute control. And that's not love. Because you should want to just get to know this person because this person is a part of your person's history. So to know my best friend, who I've been friends with for 30 years, who I met when we both got put out of class for talking, there, and I absolutely love him, but he's my checks and balances. So if I am telling him my business, he knows my flaws, my curt ways, things that I need to change. So if I tell him that story, now the comedian got to get off this cricket phone. I lost my train of thought.
Ward, you gotta fix your phone, honey. I'll bring you back when you fix your phone. You gotta fix your phone, Ward.
But the bottom line, you guys are doing your thing.
Talking about you. Tarsa, she said, yes, it's all about communication. She agrees with you, Dr. Mack. It's all about communication. And I do feel that in some situations that, in this segment was, how do you decide how to make a person a platonic friend, right? So when you initially meet people, one of the things that concerns me is that when women meet men, it's different than when men meet women. It's totally different. I feel that we go into, he would make a good boyfriend. He make a good boyfriend. Ward, I'm gonna have to stop because Dr. Mack said this is it. Your phone that went out twice. She got to go in on you. Ward.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this.
You got jokes tonight.
Ward, they say you ain't got no jokes tonight, Ward. You ain't got none. I'm
having problems over here.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is the thing is that I think how we approach a relationship clearly defines how we begin to manage it long term. And I think the difference is when I look at people, I look at it as friends because I believe in courting. So I believe in the courtship. The courtship is a conversation, the ongoing conversations. And at no point have I decided whether or not you're a sleepable? Because I have everybody got their little things, right? And mine is, are you sleepable, one nighter, or long term?
Now
That's
you know
those,
they say women know the sleepable part in the first 5 to 7 minutes.
honey. Because we didn't decide in the first 5 to 7 minutes whether or
So
not
in
you're
that
sleepable.
so in that 5 to 7 minutes, you know he don't need to be your friend.
And that's the whole point. Is that you already know going in. So if you see him as a sleepable, just walk away. You can't come back from that.
And you can say that. I can't be your friend because I'm trying to maintain my relationship and you will tempt me to breach it.
Yeah.
It's a compliment, but it's in reverse.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have a really good friend who is my really good friend, but and I will tell you this, and by the way, he's not anybody local, so Roz, don't be sending me no side text messages talking about who is this. I know Roz be texting me during the show. We live. She be having side conversations. What I'm saying is this person is out of state. I knew him like years ago. But the thing is, we've been able to maintain a friendship. We dated for years. Like it was a serious relationship. But the thing is, I know because of the emotional attachment I have to him that I'm glad that there's states between us. I can maintain this virtual long distance relationship, but if we ever got into the same state, oh, it's probably gonna go down. That's the real talk. Okay. That's the real. I mean, don't look at me like that, Dr. Mac. Don't be giving me the eye. I'm doing real. And just to let you know, we both know. And this is why. Because we have this connection where we don't even have to talk. We know each other that well.
Yeah, I got body language.
We got our own little.
Ooh.
Oh, exactly. So that person, I'm so glad they live states and states and states over from me. Because if we ever got into the same space, then it's out. Okay, Ward, listen, you didn't, you got to tell us a joke now. We don't even know what's happening. We need to get entertained. Because you can't keep it in.
I don't know. They just keep going off and on. I'm talking about everything.
Ward, I don't get this. Huh? So, Ward, I'm going to tell you right now, we got to go to a quick commercial break. I hope you get it together by the time we get back. Because
we come back. I got it together when you come back. Yeah.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break, folks. I hope Ward pull it together. We'll be right back.
Pull it together, Ward.
Okay, real talk. I can see you guys even when we're in commercial break and everybody dancing to the commercial. I just want to be clear. I can see all of that, what's happening. So you know what? I think based on what Dr. Mack was saying in the example that I gave, I think you need to be honest and real. And so just in my situation, understanding how I feel about that person, at some point, if I ever get married, I will have to walk away from that friendship, right? Because I can't be that connected. And that's where I think a lot of times are we afraid? Because the thing is, what challenges have you faced with that friendship? Like you need to understand if you're having some challenges with it, you need to walk away. Like Ward, with you being on the road and you traveling as much as you do, have you had to walk away from some friendships because of the conflict that is caused in your real relationship?
Yeah, I have because not not friendship, but from a lady I have run walked away from the relationship because
Oh, you left
some
the,
women,
the woman.
yeah, the woman, because some people can't deal with the you on the show, you on the road, uh, then after the show you take pictures or something like that, and they come up to you, they give you a hug and stuff, they touch you like that. Why you let her kiss you? It's just a picture. But some females they can't deal with it.
Work, do you think
But
it's because
friendship,
you work out at the gym and your body's all tight and everything that she taking possession
oh,
over your body parts?
absolutely,
Huh?
absolutely, that's it. I wouldn't even say nothing more. That's it. That's definitely it.
Work, is that what it is? Because your body all cut up and she taking
That's
it
it.
personal?
Yeah,
Is somebody
they
feeling
want
her
to touch it. I let
merchandise?
them touch it. There's nothing wrong with touching.
Now, in reverse, is it? Can she, if she took pictures, because men and touching, that's usually like the boundary. They want you to take pictures with people like this. So
I
she
mean,
can she can lean in and get a little arm, and because
I mean,
you
as
get in trouble for if your hand, like I'm very
Around
conscious
that
of
way?
like
long
pictures.
as the elbow is in the picture too, it's all right.
Exactly.
So, so work,
Right.
your rule is the elbow got to be in the picture?
The elbow can be in the picture. The elbow got to be in the picture. 'Cause if I take a woman, you know how women they be taking pictures and stuff like that of food. I want to put let them know I want to put my foot, my elbow in, and let them know I was there too. I paid for it. Gotta let them know who there.
He said you're not taking
Okay,
a picture of your plate at the restaurant and cutting you out.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do it.
Hmm.
They're
okay,
gonna
so
see my
that
finger
leaves
in
me.
there. That's my finger right there.
That's your finger. That means you part of it. So let me tell you, I did get in trouble because of a picture I posted
Yeah.
on social media, uh, with a guy, and we were seen at two different events. And I actually got a call from one of my girlfriends who said, "Are you and him an item? I've seen you at two separate events with this man. Are y'all dating?" We just happened to show up at two separate events. We knew each other, and every time we show up, it was a running joke that he's my boyfriend if we both at the same event. He's my date for the night whenever we show up, but it wasn't anything planned, right? But what do you say when the person you're dating is watching your social media and just making these assumptions that you're doing these different things? And to one of our viewers' point, if you're with someone who's insecure, Ramel, how do you handle that? I mean, you got your podcast. You guys talk about lady issues and all of that drama that be going on with the women's. What's how do you manage if the person you're with is a little insecure?
I don't my husband is secure in what we have. So I don't run into that problem, but I also think that I do respect what um I do respect that my husband is able to give me that space to have these friendships, right? And so I myself put some boundaries on the things that me and my male friends will do, will talk about, because ultimately, like I said, it's about me and my husband. So I won't talk to my male friends about, say, sex. It
I was gonna
I
say what are off limits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do that. I don't feel comfortable, and I don't think it's necessarily appropriate for me to listen to my friend talk about sex with his wife or vice versa with me and my husband. I just don't think it's appropriate. That's me,
Right.
but we can talk about just about anything else, right? But for me, my husband knows that what I'm talking about with my friends um is platonic kind of talk, right? It's not very intimate talk, if you understand what I mean.
It 100% makes sense. So I think, the difference is, Roz and I are single. Warwick is single but dating. You see, I put the slash, but dating. He's single, but dating. And then Dr. Mac and Ramel, you guys are married. So I think, like, at some point, Roz, do you feel that your relationship with your BFF is going to have to shift? Because you guys talk about everything. You guys have no limits. You talk about everything from the rooter to the tutor. Do you think you're going to have to reduce that or modify that relationship once you get into a committed relationship? Or are you going to try to continue to still have that? Because I'm asking the question because for you, that's an outlet. That's the person you can have a real talk with. So, yeah.
So, from my perspective, I was married for a long time, 18 years, and I cut off all my friends, okay, to invest in my husband. And at that time, I didn't have an outlet. And it wasn't until I got divorced that I really started to reach out to my friends, and they embraced me because I cut them off, right?
Yeah.
And now I would not trade my best friend for any relationship. I will censor my relationship with my best friend and make sure that the man in my life understands that he's first. Well, under God, he's second. But I just won't be as vocal about it. But people are going to do what they want to do. People are going to do what they do. At the end of the day, you can say what you'll do, but behind closed doors, who knows? Okay, so I believe in that trust factor. I'm going to trust you, and I want you to trust me until I don't or they don't. So as long as we don't break that barrier, we don't go beyond that, then yeah. And then my best friend is my confidant, and I'm his confidant. Okay, and I don't know. I'm not going to give that up again. I'm sorry.
So, and I think based on what you said, there's different levels of friendship. Like what Dr. Mack was saying in the beginning, if you have a platonic friend and it's a business relationship, that's different than someone that's your confidant.
Mhm.
That's a totally different type of platonic friend. But for you, Warwick, as a man, does that matter to you? That there's different levels to this friendship that your woman may have with this guy, or to you, them levels don't matter?
No, it don't matter. But
Work is getting off. Work is off the podcast. Work you off. I couldn't even take it. Work, we can't even.
I was
Okay,
going
that's great. That is right, because my name is Mac too.
I love it. Oh, that's cool. I just think that we know when you think about pictures, Christine, and you mentioned like the poses. Poses matter. We know when it's a disrespectful pose. You know when you have stepped over a boundary. You can have fun pics. You can have laughing. Out doing things. But you absolutely know on both ends when it looks away. And sometimes in the world that we live in, if how something looks makes your person feel disrespected, why is it that important? And if you don't want to identify someone, and we know how important social media can be, even if it's not real life, but posting someone consistently and it looks like a date, 2 and 2 is 4. And sometimes in fake news, 2 and 4 is not,
Exactly.
and you have to be mindful of the brand of your marriage. And my best friend of 30 years absolutely knows all of my business. But like I said, he keeps me on task because I can't pretend in any kind of way. And he can cut through and say, no, you were wrong. And he will say, no, tell Mike that, or you need to do that, or no, you're not doing enough. And he'll remind me of the privilege of my marriage and remind me to do more and be more, whether we're talking about sex or not. So I'm open to really tell him the truth because everybody doesn't deserve the truth or deserve to really have that level of vulnerability. So if you're blessed enough to get people that you can really be 150% with, you can't give them up. They're supposed to help you stay in your relationship or remind you to make the best decision for you, which may be to leave. Either way, you and that person, you're supposed to have a balance of respect and love and boundaries to be able to make it through a lifetime that may take you through 2 and 3 marriages and 4 and 5 relationships. So to cut that off, that's a bit much to ask. But if the person is worth it, you have to introduce those people. I introduced them when Mike and I were dating. So just in case it turned into something, you met this guy first.
I like that. Ward, the ladies said you can't come back again because your connection, your Wi-Fi connection is bad. And Work, right now you're muted. You're muted, Work, so we can't even hear you. So I just want to be clear. Work, you're still muted.
Here I go. I'm back on now.
Okay.
But like I was saying, like every guy, they probably want to be friends with a lady, but some ladies they just so ungrateful. They so ungrateful because if a man like you laying down and a man comes and he just want to give you a massage and stuff like that, you shouldn't be hollering about who you are, how you get in here, stuff like that. Just enjoy it.
So you know what, you're right. And the thing is what he's talking about, Rise, is when that platonic friendship crosses a line.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, your platonic friend should not be rubbing you up.
That's not platonic.
Yeah, that's no. So everybody who's watching,
platonic.
If your friend is rubbing you up,
or down,
yeah,
I'll break it up real bad.
That's not.
I bet you are.
I think that's where a lot of people get in their mind where they think certain things are okay. Because if you have a certain concept or mindset about what a relationship is, then you may think that it's okay that this person did that. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I get really concerned when the best friend, the female best friend of the guy that I'm with, competes with me. Because to me,
that's not a friend.
Yeah, that's not a friend.
Somebody that's waiting for the door to open.
Exactly. You're waiting for the shoe to drop and for him to walk away from me. So you just lay dormant playing this friend role, waiting for the opportunity for him to feel like I got no other resources but you. So I'm gonna just be with you because you know me best. Now that's happened to me quite a few times.
And they say Camille Cosby introduced Bill to Felicia.
Really?
Yes, for that reason, like to understand your person and say, okay, now he's working with Felicia Rashad, this beautiful Black woman. I need to hook her up. Some women use that approach because if you have this best friend that's consistently single, sometimes it's like, okay, I can't infiltrate this because what you had to have that business relationship. So let me see how I can hook her up.
And I guess it is sometimes a test. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the things I can be 100% keen on, I've never had any of my male friends kiss me or say things like one time I wore a dress in front of them and they made a big deal about it. Like, oh my God, Chris, you're a girl. Look at you. And I was so embarrassed by it. I made sure, like I left from work and met them at a bar. And they made such a big deal about my outfit. I was embarrassed. I just kept my coat on the whole time. Because, when they started saying that to me, it made me feel weird that they saw me like a girl, right? And not Chris. That really bothered me. So I'm going to say, folks, when you look at relationships like that, you really need to be keen on what your approach is and how you're managing that, because that is extremely evasive. When you talk about your relationship, like if your husband had a really good friend, Ramel, and she was constantly giving him compliments, you like, okay, wait a minute now, baby girl. That's one compliment is enough. We don't have to dive in on a regular. And so I think if you are a friend of a guy, you need to be respectful of that as well. Be very mindful about how you communicate with them. Make it very neutral. Don't be over, supportive, all that kind of stuff. You can't
over giggly.
Over giggling. Go ahead and
over giggly. I mean, I think women know women's body language, and we know when you're auditioning. Okay.
Audition. I like that.
Auditioning, and when the dynamic changes from just an organic hangout to a bit of a performance. And that is for you and your partner to discuss, like, hey, she went from really cool to performing for you. And I can't sit for a woman performing for my man. So she has to be, removed from this sitcom.
All right. So I'm going to ask y'all right now, have you guys ever had a really good friend that wanted to hook up one of your platonic friends and it went south?
Hell yeah. Cool.
What did you say?
Dr. Max
Have you ever had one of your girlfriends want to hook up one of your platonic friends and it went south?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's one of my major rules where I tell people I can't hook nobody up. I want to say right now, Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Michelle. Hey, honey. Thank you for watching us on Facebook. And so what you saying, Tara? Tara said as women we see when they don't. Oh yeah, we do see.
Mhm,
So when
mhm.
somebody's saying that they just your friend, I'll be like, hold up. No, she not. But just like my rule is, and in this last segment, my rule is this. I don't like any of my friends to date any of my male friends. I like to keep it separate. If you guys hook up, I'm not going to fight it, but I'm definitely not going to be engineering it. Because when it all go to hell in a handbasket, I want to still keep my two friends, right? So, have you guys ever run into that? And how did you manage someone trying to be? Wait a minute, your husband chiming in again. Let me put him on. He's freaking watching. He said, "Men don't see what you. Men don't
Yes,
see
yes,
what
you
you
all do. Yes, you all do. You see what we don't see. Men perform too.
Mr. Mack, your wife said, yes, y'all do see it. Stop playing. Um, and Mr. Mack, you on your way home. Stop playing with it. Just talk to when you get home. Don't do it. I know you ain't at home because she on the podcast. So, guys, when you do fall across that, how do you manage your female friends wanting to meet your male platonic friends? How do you manage that and not create a rift between you and them or the other?
After so long, I think that when you try to, if these two people have come to maybe all your birthdays, all your holiday dinners, they like the same things because they like you.
Right,
And before you know it, these grown people are about to make a grown decision. So you could try to prevent this and create your own boundaries and say, I'm out of it.
right,
This is the one topic we can no longer dive into because you can say, I'm going to lie for him and I'm going to lie for her, or I'm going to tell both of you the truth. So you should probably keep me out of it because I'm loyal to you both.
Mhm.
Um, and if they decide to do it and it becomes disastrous, they
right,
can't funk up your party. So you could lose a friend, but you to try to work to make two adults who are attracted to each other physically not make contact, you can't control that.
and you know what?
You can ask them, but you can't make them not.
And that's the thing. I lost a really good girlfriend because of that.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
lost a really good girlfriend because they didn't connect, I think, the way that she had anticipated. And because of that, me being with that person um was a huge, I mean, issue for them. It wasn't an issue for me, but it became an issue where it was like if I'm with that person, they felt like I was trying to keep them away from that person. And I'm like, no, I was this me and this person been together. I don't even think about you when I'm hanging with them. You ain't even in the thought process.
Mhm.
Like, no, I mean, I don't get that part. But it did. It broke up a friendship over that. And,
Mhm.
and and that's really hard. So, what advice would you give me and Roz as single ladies with male friend as we're looking to make that transition into marriage? How would you guys tell us how to shift that so that we can make sure that our spouse is comfortable with our long-term friendships?
I would have to chime in with what Dr. Mack said. You have to introduce these people to your boyfriend or to who you're dating if you're thinking it's going in that right direction.
Right.
I 100% agree with Dr. Mack on that. Is you have to make sure that it's not a surprise and that they're able to at a different level be able to maybe like each other, like become friends, even if it's not a great friendship, at least that they can be friendly, right?
Okay.
But when it's a surprise and things like that, I I think it's problematic.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. I think that two things. The first thing is you know yourself as a woman if it could ever go there. And
mhm,
I can't stress this enough. I have never ever had a physical urge to have sex with my best friend.
mhm,
Right.
And only you know that.
Right.
And that is the energy that you can't fix if you're partying one night, if you guys have I don't know, card parties, or you start drinking or doing whatever you do, you can't fake that energy.
Right.
And to put somebody that is dating you in a position to have to watch that and feel that and then make them think they're crazy is gaslighting at its worst.
Wow.
Because you are making them think that they don't feel what they feel. And
Right.
then when they call bullshit, everyone wants to act devastated. But you
Okay.
also know that, some women like to have standby just in case friends.
See, and that's a
And
different situation. They put it under the title of platonic, and you can't do that. And that's one of the things that I can't stress more than I cannot stress this enough. Ladies and gentlemen, your platonic friends, to Dr. Mack's point, I don't envision any of my friends, and as much as my female friends pressure me to be like, you don't, girl, he's so fine, and I ain't gonna call nobody out, Roz. Girl, he's so fine. You don't think he that cute. Roz know who I'm talking about. This one person. We can't shout nobody's name out, Roz. You know who I'm talking about. He's one of my platonic friends, but I don't see him the way she sees him. I don't even see him like that. I've never seen him through that.
I like
lens.
Roz.
To me, Roz know who I'm talking about, Roz. You know I can't do no shout outs on who it is. But the thing is,
Well,
I've
why
never
you
seen
shout
him like
me
that.
out then? Come on now.
I'm shouting
Well, I'm
you
about
out
to
because
text
Roz,
you how you say
No,
Roz.
don't because I didn't send for you. Now don't do that. Let's not do
so
that.
Roz, no, it's Roz, but the thing is, she's one of my friends, and Roz was like, I think he's so handsome. And I look at him, I'm like, I don't see that. So it's weird because if a woman, and that's the reason why when I saw him, I knew he was going to be one of my good friends because I didn't see him the way Roz saw him. Roz see him and he's like an attractive man, but to me, he's an attractive man, but I don't see him as for me.
But
You
the
get
way
what
you
I'm
act
saying?
around him, you act like he's more than a friend.
You think that?
Energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's never been the case,
I
ever.
mean,
So
if you talk about pictures and they say 1,000 words, right? But I'm not really, for me, it's not
Right.
about a picture. It's not about what people do in your face. It's about what they do behind your back. So at the end of the day, you know what you do, how you do it. You can't control anybody, okay? And so I just take people at face value. Whatever they do, because people could put on whatever facade that they'd like to, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to.
That's true. Because Roz know my rules. You can't make nobody love you or like you. That's the rule.
And you shouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have
So you
to.
know
But
what, Roz? It's interesting that you say that because now when you look at things through that lens, if people are looking at your energy, I guess they're looking at it through their lens of what a relationship is.
Right.
So maybe that energy could be misunderstood or misconstrued.
Misconstrued.
Because we do act like brother and sister, and we introduce each other to our friends as this is my little sister. And I say this is my brother. So I guess, sometimes that could be misconstrued, but there's never been anything passionate between us. Like I could, child, please.
But sometimes,
like
Christine, sometimes intimacy leaks over on accident, and we don't know that we have to adjust our behaviors because sometimes it's even cultural, right? If
Right.
you don't know that wearing red to someone's birthday celebration in that culture means you're sultry and you're being sexual
Wow.
towards the birthday boy,
Mhm.
you don't know that you disrespected their entire family because you're unaware of that culture. In our culture, if you get up and make a man's plate, I don't care if that was your best friend last Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving, you have a seat and let me cut that turkey for him. But you may think that
Oh,
you're just hopping
I
up,
don't make
grabbing
no
something
plates.
when you're grabbing theirs, or his coat, or you laugh and
I
you
don't do
lean
none of
in
that.
and you lose your braid out the way. All of that can be seen as way too intimate and give off
Right.
something that you didn't mean to give off. So sometimes self-assessing and saying, hey, best friend, what do we do that might rub people the wrong way? And say, well, let's try to stop that.
But Dr. Mack, but the thing is, I don't do any of those things at all.
Okay.
I don't make no plates. I don't get no coats. I don't do none of that.
But sometimes when we're funny, when we're charming, when we, kind of can bring an energy to the room, and that person, it seems like we're tag teaming together. Maybe that's the spades partner, and we got all of our tricks. It can come off because it is intimacy because you've been friends with that person for a while. and we
So
have
that's
to really
something
be
to pay
mindful.
attention to.
And it's
You
like,
sit
oh
on
my,
their lap and you take a picture.
yeah, and it's something that you don't think to see until the other person starts to date somebody that's becoming offended, and you guys have to figure out a way to put words on it.
Well,
What
you
did
know
I
what?
do?
And I
And
like
then
what
you
you
start
said
thinking,
because right now to date, none of his friends have ever been offended by me. We all get along. I've gotten along with all of his girlfriends. Like his girlfriends and I are like really good friends. Like we like each other.
But
So I
he
think that's
probably
great.
made them feel secure about you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
he went back. You hear what Ross said? He went back and made sure that they were secure about you. So
Oh,
maybe
for
they
sure.
still talked about some things, and they was like, "Nah, babe, that's just what me and Chris do, and that's just our thing." But
And I think,
trust
and that's
me, there have been some conversation.
oh for sure. And the thing is, I want to say this too, and this is so clear for everybody that's watching. I think a lot of times people see you a certain way. And again, I always tell people I don't see myself as pretty, I see myself as smart, right? But when women see me, they automatically go, "That's your friend? This she look like this?" I don't see myself like that. I see myself as just Chris. But when you look at me for the first time through that lens, I can see where the confusion is, right? And I
But
take that automatically.
you can't take the woman off of you. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like you can
And
be
that's there
smart
you
and
go.
all of
Say
that.
that
It's
again,
like,
Dr. Mac, say that
come on,
again.
man. You can't take the woman off of you. So nobody cares that you're smart on sight. It's like,
Exactly.
damn, you supposed to have
Right.
all three friends. No.
Because what you just said, and women need to understand a lot of times what you're seeing, the person that's your with is with your spouse, that's their friend, they're not even seeing themselves through the same lens. So it's two different lenses, and they're trying to figure out why you think this. So you're right. You can't take the woman off of you, right?
And
And that makes so much sense.
in
Yeah.
today's age, it's not just about male female relationships. So let's not just be, in that space because it can be woman, men.
Oh my gosh, Raj, you're
Even more
right.
of a challenge. It's even
Absolutely.
more of a challenge. Like in
Yeah.
lesbian spaces, sometimes that's really been your best friend,
Right.
and you guys
And
have
sometimes
finally
your best
decided
friend
to
might
have it.
express that to you, and I'm like, whoa, that's not where I am. But at the end of the
No,
day,
that's
if they
right.
say that to me, that makes me feel some kind of way, like pump your brakes, okay?
Yeah.
No, that's not me.
So
But
what if that becomes an issue that because people switch on and off, like when you met that person, maybe they weren't, but now the years have passed, this person has switched over, and now they've changed and decided I want to be a lesbian. But
absolutely.
this has been your best friend for years. Is that going to be a conflict in a relationship?
So not switched over. I mean, people have the option to be fluid,
Hmm.
and they can decide when they want to physically act on their fluidity. And I
Right,
think that yes, in this day and age, you may be, like say for instance, Christine, you say you're really good friends with some of the wives, and they may get to a point where they get comfortable and say, okay, we're finally ready to have that threesome, and
Threesome.
we both like
Absolutely.
Christine. So
oh,
you have to prepare.
I'm gonna throw up on everybody. I'm
But
doing up
but
on everybody.
I can't believe I said threesome and y'all got the giggling. Cut it out. But
Look, Dr. Beck, I don't know if they don't do it in person because all my food is coming up. I couldn't even phantom that. Oh
mhm.
my God.
But to Roz's point, we have to be mindful that it's a space on both ends. Or if you have a gay best friend, a masculine facing gay best
Right.
friend that's attracted to your husband, because you both, maybe you and him
Yes.
actually have the same type. And these are conversations that you have to have. But I keep pressing communication because people
Right.
skip over things and act like they heard things and act like they said things.
Right.
So if you say, listen, babe, is me having this gay best friend that goes to all the stuff that you don't feel like being bothered with? I want him to be my date. Does it make you feel away if maybe we match because I like to shop with
Right.
him? If your man says, thank you for taking her off my hands, I don't want to go to another ugly sweater party. You have an arrangement. But if
Right.
your man says, that
Hey,
makes me uncomfortable because
exactly.
sometimes when he's around, I think he want to be your friend, but kind of dig me. Now I have to go back and have a conversation like anybody else that now wants to go over the line
Right.
with my person.
So you know what, you're right. All right, Carmilla's way, we're gonna bring you into the conversation. And thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. She says you have to be 100% upfront and completely transparent from the beginning. I agree. Tawanda Baker, thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. She said my husband's friend would need to be mindful of the signs of intimacy they give off and make an effort to act in a way that doesn't offend or disrespect the marital relationship. 100% agree. I think when you're a female or male in a relationship with someone that's married, you have to be very mindful about how you guys communicate. When my best friend is not in a relationship, we hang out a lot. When he's in a relationship, I move back because that's no longer we hang out. But when you're in that relationship and it's you guys, I hang back until you call me and be like, Chris, we having this. Are you coming over? Because we doing this. Him and the new person is doing this. You know what I'm saying? And I think people need to understand that. You need to step back and not be so in their face all the time. And that's important. Now, the other thing is when you're with somebody of the same sex and they're your friend and they could be trying to hit on your husband and be your friend too, that's a problem. That's a problem. You may have to talk to JoJo. Listen, my husband will probably punch you in the throat if you keep this up. Now, we cool, but he might punch you in the throat. And the other thing is, like Dr. Max says, some friendships get so comfortable, they might invite you into their bedroom. You got to be prepared when you allow people into your space where it could go. It could go in several different directions. And one of my things, Dr. Mack and Ramel, and I say this all the time, these guys are my friends. I don't know them intimately. I don't know what they like or don't like. I can't really tell you. I just think he's a cool guy because he's my really good friend. Now, once we get beyond that, you on your own. That's unknown territory for me.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you know, you got to keep it real. And
now, what I will say to single women, though, is stop letting all of them stay in the friend zone and you missed out on really good men that you've actually spent time getting to know. Because I hear women, you know, that are single and then they have these amazing male friend groups. And I'm always wondering, well, why do you keep going to their weddings and complimenting them on how amazing they were, but you friend zoned all of them. And now we're talking about why you're single. And I'm like, well, hey, what happened here? And sometimes that can happen as time goes on, and it has nothing to do with the guy. It's just damn, he ended up being a really cool husband to her.
And you could have had him. So, folks, I'm telling you, this is a conversation we can continue with for another 30 minutes. Platonic relationships are what they are as long as you understand the boundaries of those relationships and the people that it impacts. So just keep in mind for you to be very mindful of the type of relationships and the people that you bring into your personal space. I'm going to tell you right now, Roz and I, we talk a lot about a whole bunch of stuff. We really do. We talk about a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to keep it real. When it comes to us being married, because we both do want to be married, we are going to make some sacrifices. The one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to sacrifice our BFFs because they've been there for us. So if y'all coming in our lives,
not BFF, just BF.
BF. We can't give up our BF. We can't give them up, but we do understand they play a role. So we do understand getting married, it does. So Dr. Mac, Ramel, Ross, thank you so much for joining me tonight and having this conversation. Single ladies talking to the married ladies about having platonic friends. Folks, doctors, you can have them. You just got to set the boundaries from the beginning, have a real conversation. Ramel says she's been rolling with some of her road dogs since college, but they know where to cross the line and they don't talk about sex. Now, me and Ross, we single, but even we have limitations on what we talk about with our friends, with our platonic male friends. And you guys have got to understand it. And Dr. Max said, if you feeling some kind of like you want to kiss them, you know, you feeling some sexual chemistries, you can't friend zone them. You're gonna have to walk away.
Because it's time and opportunity. Gonna
time and opportunity.
And on that note, I hope y'all have the time to tune in and watch us tomorrow. We'll have Galen McDowell talking about the attraction, about being in relationships. And you know what, Dr. Mack, you know Galen. And it's so funny because when he talks, I'm in the show with him, but I watched the show like 5 times for my lessons.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great show.
He is so awesome, and I absolutely love him. So, guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow and watch us from 8 to 9 p.m. And I'm gonna tell you right now, your husband, he needs to stop this. Your husband said, "Great conversation, ladies." I hope
He's
you
never
bring in
far. He's never
Look,
far.
Mr. Mac, bring dinner home. Bring dinner home.
Listen, I just text about tacos.
you know she didn't make it. She on the podcast. Don't do it. Just bring that dinner home. Tara,
I have
thank
one.
you so much for
That's
watching
it.
us. Great talk, ladies. That's what Tara Jackson said. Tara, thank you
Thanks,
for watching
Auntie.
us. Ladies, I will see you guys. I want you guys to enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday and enjoy that food, because you guys don't know. Send me some Tupperware frozen. Y'all know I don't cook. Stop playing. Raj, you know I'm coming to
And
hang
don't
out
make
with
nobody
you.
play.
Bring it.
Don't make nobody's plate.
Don't make anybody's play.
Nope.
Okay. By the way, I don't even make my own plate, so stop playing.
I'm talking to all the women at Thanksgiving. If he didn't come with you, don't make him a drink or anything. If he has
Did y'all hear that? If he didn't come with you, don't be making no plates, ladies.
See, I would have to work on that because I'm that person who does that.
Yeah. And you probably just a wonderful hostess, but you know.
No, I don't. Like, really, I just am that person. So yeah. Maybe that's
Roz is making plates. But Roz is one of those entertainment, like big dinner.
That's what I mean. If you're a hostess,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But anything that's intimate and special, making one plate.
no,
Right.
not
Different. Exactly. If you're serving your party or you're hosting,
That's different.
one thing.
Okay,
but,
so single
you know,
ladies, you heard
I'm getting
from
up.
the
You
married
want
ladies.
anything else?
That's Dr. Max. One note to all the single ladies during the holidays for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Do not go to people's houses making plates for men as a single woman, because that's a sign of intimacy and attraction. That's like sending that unknown signal.
You're
So be
extra.
careful, watch out. Everybody enjoy your holidays. And ladies, thank you so much for being part of the 5 F's to Love Real Talk with the Ladies. Have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
We know what you made of. I do better offline, yeah. I've been calling to a guy. I'm in tune with the signs. I'm just trying to let go. I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to do Moon landed with the elevation. Arm strong with the levitation. My third eye needed calibration. That was heat rock when I notated. I've been going crazy. Stone face when I kill beat. Leaving no trace on location. Premeditated. Ayy.